now, coming to you, previously recorded from the I Touch Myself studios, it's the Instant Regret Podcast!
Want to welcome everybody into the Instant Regret Podcast. I am your host, CWAKE. You can find me on Twitter at Cameron Wake. That's CAMERONWAKE. If you're looking for everything Instant Regret Podcast on social media, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook at at Regret Pod. At Regret Pod.
One job.
Yeah, we're fucking 15 seconds into this bitch, and I've already fucked it up. All right. You can also find us here at twitch.tv/Instant Regret Podcast. You can email the show at Instant Regret Pod with interesting stories that you find or anything that you want to share with the show, or if you want to get in contact with us, throw money our way, anything like that, that'd be great. All right. The man behind the glass, the co-host, the producer, Mr. Jakflash, how you doing today, sir?
I am doing just dandy on this fine Wednesday evening, sir.
And I know what everybody's thinking. Wednesday? I thought that this was supposed to premiere on Sundays. Well, we decided to do something different today. So,
to our defense, we've only done one and like a half other ones. So
yeah,
internet's good now though, so it's
we'll call
okay.
that one like the lost episode. Like nobody's ever heard it. Nobody ever will, because it was like about 15 minutes of us doing exactly what we're doing right now, and it was garbage.
No, it was actually solid. It really was compared to the last one.
Well, it just like cuts off, and I was so disappointed. Like we were on a roll. You're right, we were on a roll.
Yeah, no, but it was solid, man. I liked it.
So let's jump right into it. Things that we like to call this segment "Shit We Did This Week." And what shit we did this week means is things that we've read, things that we've watched, and games that we've played. And kind of our general experience, kind of letting the listeners know, something that they can look out for. Maybe, it's almost like us giving you suggestions of things that you should go watch, read, and play. So, Mr. Jack, why don't you start us off? What have you been playing this week? I know you're a bigger gamer than I am, so I'm sure you got more to contribute.
You put a whole lot more stock into my gaming than actually happens.
Okay, well, you play more things than I do, so that's kind of why.
This week in shit I did. Have you heard of Fortnite prior to me bringing it up to you the other night?
No, to be honest with you, I hadn't heard about it until the night that you had me download it.
Okay, well, it's I don't actually know what the regular part of the game is. I don't know what the base game is, to be honest with you.
Like the storyline?
Yeah, there's some kind of like zombie invasion or some shit like that. I don't know. Something very basic gaming,
Probably something that people don't really play, because like the multiplayer aspect of it seemed like it was pretty legit for all 5 minutes that I actually got to play before I got murdered.
Well, that's not even like the regular part of the game. Is like a multiplayer version of like the single player, I guess, or like the main story. So what we were playing was a variant.
Oh, okay.
Because have you heard of PUBG PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds?
No.
That's well, okay.
Well, aside from you talking to me about it before we played, what was that called again?
Fortnite Battle Royale, I believe, was the name of the game. It's
like
free.
you said it was just like that, except it was free.
Yeah, it's just like that, except it's free. And well, I say it's just like that. PUBG is a little more higher class, maybe. I suppose.
Oh, fancy.
It's
like the filet mignon.
Yeah, something like that.
Will.
You in Fortnite Battle Royale, you can actually kind of like build stuff. So like it's kind of like playing PUBG with Minecraft with like cell shaded type animation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
okay, cool.
It's so you randomly get a character thrown at you. There's all sorts of different random setups they have for them, and then you come drop in random. You can do it. I've only played pairs. I don't know how single player. I guess I would imagine solo works the same way, just by yourself. but I've played in pairs, and you team up with another person. I've played with you and my brother, and well, sort of you.
Yeah, no, to give everybody a little bit of context on what he means when he says that, I was fucking terrible at this game. Like I am most like first person shooters and games that rely on you not dying by another player's hand. So it's a survival game. Last one to die wins the round. And so in the instance that we were in, it was a team. So me letting him down 5 minutes in died. He actually ended up finishing, like, we as a team, quote unquote, like him, the universal we, but not really me and you. we finished in 5th place.
Yeah, we did.
But
we
I had
did
nothing
great.
to do with that. But I had nothing to do with that because I died when there was still like 40 some odd teams left out of how many to start?
There's
like
100
some odd.
There's 100, I believe, that spawn into the game when you start up. 100 players, so 50 teams, and
I survived
you
all
died,
of like 6. So yeah,
I think you were one of the first handful of people to die.
Yeah, there was 44 teams left, and I died.
Yeah, so.
But we got a top 5 finish, so
yeah, I mean, top 5 is pretty good considering.
It
I did
counts.
it
I was on the team. It's like when I played football in high school and I rode the bench. Like, we went to the playoffs, so it's the universal we. Like, I was a part of it. I was there. I was on the sideline. Did I contribute anything to that success? No, but I was there.
Everybody needs a good bench warmer, man. Someone's got to keep their butts warm.
Dude, I was the best bench warmer.
You sound like me in June, like Little League soccer. I was the guy that ate all the snacks and sit on the side and like, yeah, we're doing awesome.
That's legit.
Yeah.
I currently coach a soccer team, so I'm not going to make any comments. But
you're the coach that does what little me did. Oh man, that's funny. But no, it's a really fun game though. It's pretty neat. I enjoyed the shit out of it. If you get better at it, you'll like it a lot better, I think.
Well, yeah, no, I think that's something that we might need to stream. I think that'll be fun. Like the premise of the game looked awesome.
Yeah.
Like, and what I did get to play of it was fun. I just, I was learning the controls as we were going, and I will be better. I promise. I'll contribute something to the team.
Well, you learned sort of the same way I did. I played around and didn't know at all what I was doing, and I died. Well, I didn't die near as early as you did.
Oh, no. See, and my thing was, like, I thought maybe there was, like, a respawn or something, and there's no respawn. Once you're dead, you're dead, so...
Yeah,
that was my mistake.
Sit around and watch the whole match, or you can quit to the lobby and start another one.
Like in Call of Duty, whenever I used to play that, like, I could die 100 times, but if I got 10 kills, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this doesn't work like that. You get one death.
In this game, it doesn't matter how many kills you get, as long as you kill the very last guy. If there's just 2 of you, which is about how far I made it. I didn't kill anyone. I just happened to make it to the top 5.
So, did you watch anything interesting this week? Watch anything good on TV? Watch a movie? Anything like that?
I want to say I did, but I haven't this week. I started. I watched the first season in its entirety of The Good Place, which is phenomenal, by the way. You really need to watch that.
How old is it? Like, is this like spoiler alert, or is this something that you could actually give us some? Because this is my thing on spoilers. If it's been out for more than 2 weeks, you're good to talk about it. And anybody who comments or says, "Oh, spoiler alert," I got 2 words for you: fucking suck it. Okay.
Watch fucking TV. Stop having a life. How fucking dare you go outside and not watch TV?
Me off when people are like, "Oh, spoiler alert, dude! It's been out for 5 fucking years. Shut up."
Exactly.
No, not a spoiler alert. It's not my fault. You have a fucking life.
Exactly, man. No, I really like without, because I would rather people like watch it than me give away, because I don't anyway.
Okay,
I could describe it.
Anyway, I could give out some like general plot detail, like just kind of to give people a taste.
Basically, it revolves around people in the afterlife. They've all died some circumstance or another, and it revolves around how they are kind of coping with that in their new setting, and like the kind of the misadventures they get into along the way. But
Okay,
it's
so
the
are
way
they
it's
in like
done is
limbo, or are they in heaven or hell?
you find that out throughout the show.
Okay.
That's why I can't give you too much
Gotcha. Okay.
because if I told you one thing or the other, you'd kind of pick up on the rest of it. So, but it
Okay.
really is really good. It's a phenomenal show.
Do you know how long it's been out for? Just out of
I'm
curiosity.
not sure when the first season ended. I want to say it was maybe like late last year or maybe earlier this year. I'm
Okay,
not
so it's
sure, but
still it's still pretty new. It's
but
not something that like Mech suggested that's like 30 years old.
no. This is a recent show, but like the second season started um a month ago maybe. I think they're 4 episodes in. So
Okay.
I haven't watched any of that yet. Like I said, I don't have local television, so I have to wait till it all comes out on Netflix later next year. So
Oh, is that like a network televised show?
yeah, I think it's on. I want to say it's on Fox. I think
Is
I'm
it
not
really?
sure. It might be Fox or the CW. I don't remember anymore. One
Oh,
of those. Like I said, I don't watch it on the channel it's on, so I'm not sure.
I'll have to record it. I will watch that first season though. That sounds pretty freaking interesting.
Maybe it might be a Netflix. I don't know. Maybe it's a Netflix exclusive. Shit, I don't know anymore.
I'll Google it up. It'll be all right, and then we can let
Okay.
everybody know on Twitter. Or we can tell them not all to be lazy fucks, and they can Google it themselves.
Speaking of Twitter, just
Yeah.
did you say anything on Twitter?
Oh, about us starting? No, of course
Son
not.
of a bitch.
No.
Son of
Well,
a
that's fine.
bitch.
Podcast. Podcast.
Hey
Podcast.
man, hey man.
Listen to it later.
What
Podcast.
if they want to listen to it right now? I enjoy listening to things
Well,
live.
then, hey, feel free to talk and type and be like, hey, we're live right now. Come listen to us talk about
Well, no,
things.
because my mic is going to pick up everything I click and type on, so it's better if you do it, because then they don't have to hear it on my side, because your mic's not going
Oh,
to.
okay.
See? You
So,
see?
aside from that, have you watched anything else this week?
Uh,
Or are
oh,
you going to make this difficult on me and
no,
make
no,
me
no, no,
type
no,
and
no.
talk at the same
No, no,
time?
no. I actually started for like the third or fourth time again. Supernatural.
Supernatural? Did the new season start this week?
I think the new season started like earlier this month, I think, or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not watching the again. Like I said, I don't watch anything live as it airs, but I'm watching the series over again from Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
from first season on to I think
Every
13 seasons are on Netflix.
Yeah, no,
So
everybody loves that show. I haven't really gotten into it. Like I used to watch it whenever it was new.
hmm
I probably got like maybe 2 or 3 seasons in, but everybody says like there was a little bit of a lull and then it kind of picked back up again and like it hadn't really stopped.
there was I want to say I could tell you when it was now, but I'm not. I actually you give me a couple of weeks, I can tell you exactly when it was. But yeah, it picks up at a spot and it really has. It's taken off and it's not stopped even a little bit. It had slowed down at all, and if anything, it's picked up even more. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
and I've actually caught a little bit of last season because I watched The Flash and Arrow on the CW
hmm
like habitually. Like I don't miss an episode. Um, and I want to say that it came on after Arrow every week. So I caught a few episodes of last season's, and it was pretty freaking good. I was enjoying it. It's one of those things where it's like I've missed so much of it now that I'm a
yeah.
little lost. It's like,
Well, they have everything up to the previous season on Netflix right now, and while that's I mean, 13 seasons of 22 episodes, 23 episodes. So, I mean, it'll take a while to catch up. But I mean,
yeah,
by the time you catch up, I mean, I'm sure the current season will be on Netflix. I'm sure. So I mean, if you wanted to start, man, it really is good. I mean, it's got the basic show starting out whiny characters and shit like that, but throughout
yeah.
the course of it, I mean, it really levels out and it gets good. It gets real good. There's some interesting shit happening on that show all the time, man.
Okay, well, we've officially announced it on Twitter that we're live, so
Ah, thank you. I appreciate that.
hopefully one of our 8 followers decides to come in, tune in.
Aren't you and I two of those followers?
Yes, we are. You actually might be. You actually might be 2
oh, I
because of
am
your
two
two
of them.
separate accounts.
Shit.
Yeah, because like you usually like you'll go and like one of my tweets on both of your accounts.
I do
Which
that by accident. I really don't intend to do it on purpose.
you're like switching account to account, like, oh, that's an awesome tweet. I'm going to
Hey,
like
but
it.
guess what? Your fucking Twitter account gets a lot of fucking activity. You're welcome. You're
Yeah,
fucking welcome.
It does, and that's only partially because of you.
No, I'll because I'm signed into my alternate account, my primary account, and the podcast account on my phone. Whenever I
Yeah.
open up my phone, it kind of picks one randomly when I open the app, and fortunately, it just picks between my primary and my alternate, and
Okay, if
I'll
your phone's got to go off, you got to keep talking
I
shit.
I'll just scroll through without even seeing the icon on the top to see which account I'm on, and be like, oh yeah, that's cool, and I'll like it, like things. I'm like, wait a second, why aren't I seeing a few of the people I follow, or why am I seeing a couple of different people? It's like, oh, I'm on the wrong account. And then I'll go on my primary account, and I'll see the things again, forgetting that I've already looked at them, and I'll like them again.
For a little bit of context as to why Jack has a burner account, it's because he doesn't want any of his friends or family to know about this because he's ashamed.
No, that's not true. I sent my mom an invite to like the page on Facebook. She just never did it.
Well, my family is all for it, so suck it.
And I even showed my mom. I was like, check out this, check out
I
my
think
my studio, man. And she's like, why the fuck do you have all that? She's like, I don't know. I spent a
I'm
lot of
pretty
money.
sure like half of our likes on Facebook are my family.
It's usually some weirdo from like Central Texas or some other weird spot, man. Have you noticed
Is
that?
it-
I say weirdo. Thank you for following us, by the way. But still,
Yes. You're a valued listener. Thank you.
fellow Texan, it's okay. I understand. But still, it's always someone from like Central or East Texas, man. I've noticed that from a few people. It's like that's interesting. Our demographic
Well,
is odd.
whenever I paid for that ad, like I did like a nationwide ad.
Mm-hmm.
It was only like $15, so it wasn't too bad, and it ran for a week. So
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
no, Facebook advertising is extremely affordable. Shout out Facebook.
That's what I'm saying, man. Do you know they own a lot of shit too now? They own.
Do they really?
What, I was just looking at this the other day. Now I don't remember what all it was. They own like mimics of Snapchat. I think they own like WhatsApp or something. They own a bunch of shit, and it's ridiculous.
They own Twitter. Did you know that?
They own Twitter now. That's what it was. Okay, I
Mhm.
couldn't remember. I'd seen something that was an image of it. So they own Instagram, right?
Well, yeah, they do.
Because they have that integration on there. I noticed the
I'm
other
pretty
day.
sure anything that you can integrate on Facebook is a property that they own or bought.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, so they own Instagram, they own Twitter, they are Facebook. They've got every base covered, man.
So to kind of get back on track with the realm of the segment, so a couple
Sorry.
things that I've been watching habitually. The new season of Gotham started, and the first season I really liked. Second season was really slow. It was like all these people kept dying and coming back to life, and it didn't make any fucking sense.
Sounds like DC.
Well, yeah, exactly. It sounded exactly like DC, except for instead of doing it like over time, it was like over 20 some odd episodes, and it just was not working. But this season is pretty grounded. There's not going to be any more people dying and coming back to life. The show writers confirmed that, which was kind of a big reason as to why I kind of came back to it. Because in all honesty, after last season, I was kind of ready to give up on it. This season starts out strong. Bruce Wayne has started doing vigilante work. He doesn't have the cape, but he has the cowl.
Hey.
He hasn't picked up the bat persona yet, but he's getting there. Penguin is running all organized crime in the city. So Jim Gordon has reached out to the Falcones to kind of bring in a rival to help overthrow Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
Because Penguin right now kind of has the city in his pocket. That includes, the mayor and the police chief, which sucks for him because he's part of the police force, obviously.
Right, yeah.
So Falcone, he goes to visit Falcone, and he reveals that he's dying and can't come back to Gotham. But his daughter decides to kind of take up that mantle and come back. And that's about as far with that as they've gone. Ra's al Ghul has come into play and is...
Well, hold on. Back up a little bit. Say that name again.
Ra's al Ghul?
No. Say it correctly.
That's how it's said, Ra's al Ghul.
No. You suck a penis. Say it correctly. That is not correct. That's some
Then you
backwards ass
fucking
arrow shit. No. It's Ra's al Ghul. It's not Raish. Okay. It's not Rash. It's not and all that other goofy shit that they say.
I don't know.
In
all the animated shit they're making now, it's Raish.
Oh well, I don't watch that, and that's kind of canon. So I guess I'll just insert foot in mouth, whatever. Fuck you.
Okay. Well, anyways, before you so rudely interrupted me, bitch, don't correct me.
Sorry. You could have thrown the truth bomb at me before I made myself look like an asshole.
Well, I wasn't expecting you to fucking come in like a wrecking ball.
That's the only way to come in,
try to
baby.
Anyways, so Ra's al Ghul has revealed himself to Bruce, and he's trying to recruit Bruce, but he's not trying to make it obvious. And that's kind of where they're at in the season right now. They're about 5 or 6 episodes deep, and it's been really, really good. The storytelling is really, really good. The character development has become really, really good. So for those who kind of given up on Gotham, I'd suggest going back and starting at the beginning of this season. And, you know, if you have a little bit of context, that's great. If you don't, it's still going to be good for you. Another thing that I've been watching habitually as it's been coming out each week, and lucky enough it comes on like right after Gotham, is The Orville, which is the Seth MacFarlane Star Trek parody. For something that I feel like is meant to be a joke, the storytelling is really, really good. They come out each week with, you know, a new story plot, and in all honesty, it's just like watching Star Trek, but it's kind of funny. Like, and that's the best way I can describe it. Like, it's not over the top, like, you know, butt gusting hilarious. It's just like his little like sarcastic spin on things added into that Star Trek element, and there's a lot of serious acting in it, and even on his part, and it's really good, and I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I need to catch up to that one on you.
There's not really like a plot that I can give away because each episode is kind of like its own little like adventure, kind of like Star Trek is. So there's not like an overall seasonal plot that I can kind of like set up for everybody, but that's been pretty good. Excuse me just 1 second. Let me get a drink. As everybody can hear, I'm kind of having my Jordan flu game today. I feel like crap. I sound like crap.
So I follow the reference to that, but would you mind explaining a little more on that for me?
Okay, for those of you nerds who've never watched a fucking sporting event in your life or ever turned into ESPN, the Jordan flu game was a game where like MJ put up an awesome fucking game. I don't even know the numbers. But he was sick with the flu, and like his body was like breaking down on the sideline, but he got on the court and just like owned everybody. I want to say he put up like a 50-point game. Like it was pretty freaking impressive. Yeah. I could be completely off on that, so
I'm sure someone will tell us if they're listening.
Yeah, that's fine. Nobody's listening right now anyways, so that's cool.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm all right with that.
To kind of move on from what I've watched, I've done a lot of comic book reading here lately, which I've never done before. So I'm diving into everybody that has ever talked about the New 52 said it's shit. So I've started with Rebirth. I've read Batman Beyond. I've read a few issues of that. I haven't completed that yet or have it up to date yet. Nightwing, Teen Titans, which I've completed, and Justice League, which I've come pretty close to completing too. The Teen Titans one is pretty interesting. It's based off of Damian Wayne is now Robin, and he's creating a team that consists of Kid Flash, Wally West, Starfire, and who's the last one?
I don't know. I don't know if I know this.
No, I'm coming off of. I'm trying to remember. Raven is another one.
Ah.
It was Raven, Kid Flash, Starfire, Robin, and I don't want to say Blue Beetle. I don't think it was Blue Beetle. Oh, Beast Boy. It was Beast Boy.
That
was the last one.
Blue Beetle, I don't remember.
And so it starts out with him kidnapping them. This is after his 13th birthday, and he's, I guess, Jewish, because he's talking about having a bar mitzvah and like becoming a man at the age of 13 and all this other stuff. And he's having this conflict between who he wants to be and who he was supposed to be, because he's the grandson of Ra's al Ghul, but he's also the son of Batman. And so he kidnaps these other Titans to bring them all together, because he has no fucking social skills, because he was raised on Nana Parvat. Is that how you pronounce it, Mister? I know everything about.
No, you're pretty much on it. I want to say it again.
Nana Parvat.
I think that's right. Yeah, sounds right.
Okay, so he kidnaps them, and they're all pretty fucking pissed about it, and he's explaining to them, like, you know, they have to be a team, and they're not understanding why. And at the end of one of the comic books, it's revealed that he was supposed to lead a team of like super assassins that were teenagers as well. So it's kind of like the League of Assassins version of the Teen Titans.
Sweet.
And they all have powers that are kind of the correlation between the target that they're supposed to kill. So, like, all the reason that he pulled these specific heroes together is because they've all been marked for death by this other team, and this other team killing all these heroes is kind of their like graduation into becoming like members of the League of Assassins. And so the basis of the storyline is them coming together as a team, even though Damien did it like kind of like deceitfully. And so it was a pretty good read. Of all the ones I read, that would be the one that I suggest the highest right now. And all these are Rebirth.
Is this from the same website where we were reading the Nightwing thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I completely forgot about that. Nightwing New Order.
Yeah, I'm still on chapter 1. I need to continue.
I read chapter 1 and chapter 2, and I haven't checked to see if chapter 3 is out yet.
I say it's solid, man. It's very solid.
Yeah, I like the story. It's very interesting. It's different.
Yeah, no, the neat take on it, man. I dig it.
For those who haven't heard of the Nightwing New Order, this is a new book that's out. It's part of like a 4 or 5 part series, and there's not a lot of context. Like there's not a lot. Like they're still building the story, but Nightwing is the head of a government organization to help regulate superpowers in the world. There was an event that happened in Metropolis that was going to cause the world to end if Nightwing didn't take away the powers of all the superheroes and the villains. So he did that, and so he works alongside the government to help keep heroes from coming to fruition by giving them, like, what were they called? They were like sedatives for superpowers, and I can't remember what he called them.
Like inhibitor.
Inhibitor drugs. Yeah, that was
go.
Exactly it.
I was trying to remember the word. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
And for any hero or villain that the drug wouldn't work on, they put them in like a stasis, like an ice, they froze them.
Mm-hmm.
And so the end of book 1 ends with his son Jake. The principal called Nightwing in, and it just cuts to a scene where it shows Jake with his hands glowing like Starfire.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of the first comic. But there's a lot of story in between and a lot of kind of gap filling, so it's not really much of a spoiler for me to tell you all that. But
there's stuff that
and also
into that.
it's been out more than 2 weeks, so
yeah,
suck it. It's past spoiler alert. If you
Suck it,
haven't read
spoiler
it,
alert,
you
homos.
can go read it. You're still gonna enjoy it. Get the hell over it. But that's really been it as far as like things I've read and things that I've watched. Video game wise, been playing some ESO. Clockwork City is getting ready to drop, and that's kind of been highly anticipated. There's been a lot of stuff that's going to drop with this next update that people have been really looking forward to, namely Transmutation, which the more details surfaced about Transmutation.
Do share, because I don't know them.
Okay, since... let me pull this up again real quick. I'm sorry. Open link. There we go.
Unprepared, son of a
No,
bitch.
I was prepared, but I accidentally closed my link.
Unprepared,
Suck
son of a
it.
bitch.
Anyways.
Don't you anyways
Okay.
me?
So for those who don't know what Transmutation is or have been living under a rock for the past like 3 months since the last DLC came out, and they kind of announced this along with it, but we're holding off on it as they were trying to figure it out. What Transmutation is if you've ever had gear that you've wanted to change the trait on, they're implementing this transmutation system that requires 40 transmutation crystals, which you can earn from completing random daily looking for groups, by doing your undaunted pledges, by doing your weekly trial quests, by doing arena trial and battleground and leader by I guess like getting on the leaderboards. You can get them from Alliance, War Campaign, End rewards. You can get your first rewards for the worthy in the day. So you don't get it every time you get a rewards for the worthy. You just get it one time a day. You can get them by completing Maelstrom Arena on vet mode and completing Dragonstar Arena on vet mode.
So you can get them pretty much by doing almost anything then. That's a
Pretty
daily
close.
or a dungeon or something.
They drop from dungeon final bosses, rewards for the worthy males after your first for the day, and random LFGs after your first. The way that you'll use them is there's a transmutation station. Say that 5 times fast. It sounds like a theme park.
I was about to, but then I got tongue-tied in my head.
Yeah, transmutation station. Transmutation station. You'll use a transmutation station. You'll have to have 40 of your transmutation crystals, and you can turn it into any trait that you have researched. So if you don't have any traits researched and you're slacking in that department, you're not going to be able to do it. This isn't going to apply to you until you get some research done. Once you transmute an item, it is bound to your account. It's not character bound, but it is account bound. So they're not going to be tradable. Your transmutation crystals are not going to be tradable. So this is exactly, because it's going to keep the market stable for those people who, and this is like my biggest complaint with this game is there's nothing to sell.
No, there's not anymore.
No, the market's fucking terrible.
Yeah,
but you can use the but you'll still be able to grind gear that drops in the overworld that's not bind on pickup, but just bind on equip. Yeah. So those who sell necropotents, you're still going to be able to sell necropotents. Those who sell plague doctor, you're still going to be able to sell plague doctor. And the market for these things shouldn't change too much. There are plenty of people out there that have the trait research done, but there's also plenty of people out there who don't.
Right.
So that's going to be good.
I wonder. We say it's not going to affect the marketplace, but I wonder, with transmutation, if I can just go out and grind and get the crystals to transfer anything I want, I wonder if, if it would even be worth my money or worth my time rather to as a merchant to sell my shit since I
Jewelry.
don't. Oh yeah, jewelry. Yeah, that's true. So it would just be down
Like
to jewelry at that point
I
then.
sold 2 rings for 25K each.
Yeah, because I'm thinking if I can transmute
And I think they
any
actually
piece into any
sell higher.
trait, then I could sell any piece on the marketplace.
It's
It would
great. It's
sell.
great for the armor pieces, but like for those who like depend on like the drop set to be like rings,
Mm-hmm.
like the people do with like Plague Doctor or Eben, especially if like you're running like one set as a drop set and the other set as a like crafted set.
Right.
And this is another thing. Like this actually makes trait. This will actually make trait research worth it.
Finally.
Because right now it's not, because you can have all 9 traits done, but how many of those crafted sets right now are actually worth a damn? Hardly any.
Yeah. Made possible by the drop sets. Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's yeah, it's a little ridiculous. They should have kind of thought that through a little more whenever they started doing all that shit. But
Yeah, well, they're redeeming themselves on this because at least now the last year I've spent researching everything was worth it because now I can use it for something instead of being one of those people that has to sit out there and grind for the specific trait I want. I can sit there and be like, yeah, I'll just go grab the crystals after doing a couple of dungeons or whatever, and yada yada, bing bang boom, I've got what I want. It's like, fuck yeah, I don't need to go find a precise or a sharpen. I can be like, I've got this one weapon, I like it, I'll just make it whatever I want. It's just like, fuck yeah, dude. Just fuck that grind, man. Fuck that.
yeah, no, I spent over 10 hours in that delve looking for just a sash of transmutation.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you told me that, you reminded me, I should say.
Right.
I mean, I already knew it was coming out, but I just didn't really think about it. As soon as you reminded me that the transmutation system was coming, I was just like, yeah, fuck this. I'm not going to grind this anymore. Because I already had like 10 sashes in my inventory.
Yeah.
But just none of them were in, I think I was looking for divines. And yeah, it was a bad day.
Yeah, I had the same thing going on when I was grinding for ebon pieces. I got ebon, I needed a sword and a shield left, and I got a shield and like some other thing, and I was like, oh, these aren't the traits I want, so I was like, I'm just not going to use them, I'll just sell them or break them down, which I did one or the other. And then Sai reminded me shortly after, he's like, oh, hey, what about this? I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah, I actually
they were gone.
I just had to clean out my bank. I think I did that last weekend, actually. Just things that like I didn't like. I never keep trash trait anyway.
Right.
So like even if I get a drop of something, like if it's not a trait that I need, I don't keep it ever.
Yeah, no, I
got rid of a lot.
Trash.
I got rid of a lot of stuff that I'm just like, I don't run any stam characters, so I got rid of all my stam shit. Or it's like I have all this, but it's like I run these dungeons so much, like it's not going to be impossible for me to get it if I need it. Like the lich stuff, like the lich stuff isn't even useful anymore.
No, it's not.
Unless you're doing like PvP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Who wants to do PvP? That sucks.
Well, I kept like my lich shield. Well, no, I do want to get into some PvP. Like I do want to do like battlegrounds and stuff. It's just that I hadn't wanted to like grind out more like new characters for it, but I have a. Go ahead.
So you can let the grind king me grind out shit for you.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm going to hit CP cap this new event, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, same. Will. I'm not gonna grind a new character. I'm just gonna focus on getting a shit ton of champ points.
I'm more than 100 away, and I guarantee you, I fucking hit it, dude. Actually,
no doubt.
I'm
with
200
double XP,
away,
dude. With double XP and the and using like pots or using experience scrolls. Yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy. I'm probably gonna get on tomorrow night, and I'm gonna go buy a bunch of pots and get prepared for it because it hits this weekend. I'm telling you, man, I guarantee you because I've min-maxed the shit out of this. I've grafted, I've thought about it, I've dreamed about it. I'm gonna fucking hit it, man. I'm telling you.
You've had fucking like day sweats thinking about it.
Yeah. Because I was talking to Sai, talking to him about it. We were talking about the dungeons, He gets 600 and some odd thousand with a 50% experience scroll
Uh-huh.
just doing the random daily once.
Oh, that's nuts.
So if I get a few scrolls, or I don't even have to get a few scrolls. If I use the bonus on all my characters and do it the one time on the 4 characters I have maxed out, I can get that 600 some odd thousand or even more because that was 50. So another 50 would be God knows what, you know, and I can get that tons of
Like
experience
900
4 times.
something thousand. It'd be like 900 something thousand,
Yeah, I can get almost a million 4 times in one day off of
which
the
is
same
like
thing.
4 champ points.
Yeah. I'm telling you, dude, it's insane. And
Yeah.
then there's all the dailies that you can get it off of, and then I can use all the scrolls, and I'm telling you, they all stack too. And
Nice.
because of this event, I said I was gonna drop it ESO Plus. I went ahead and kept it for this month,
Yeah, no, I would have.
just
Yeah.
just for the extra
It,
10%,
I
because there's
like
no
even
way.
if you don't play the game, dude, like it's just so, like oh, I can't imagine playing this game and not having it.
Well, I've taken preventative measures, as I've told you before, with the multiple spots to keep things, so I'm not too worried about it when it does finally drop.
Yeah.
I just wanted it for the extra experience for this, because the free 10%. I mean, that's every little bit counts when it comes to grinding out CP, dude. So,
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
so I'm at a constant 110 at least the whole time. So I mean, that's not bad at all.
Okay, so to kind of give a little bit more information on the Clockwork City DLC, there's going to be a new trial coming out, which we talked about before on the last podcast. For those who haven't listened to it, we'll kind of touch on this again because more information's dropped since the last time. We've known that it's going to be shorter than the trials that we currently have. There's only going to be 3 bosses. That there's going to be multiple ways that you can run the trial. You can take on one boss at a time. You can take on, you can do one boss and then take 2 bosses on at the end, or you can go straight to the final boss and take on all 3 bosses at the same time. At that point in time, we didn't understand like how the rewards drops would work, but I'm going to read this page to you guys, and it'll explain more. So just bear with me as I'm reading through it. It'll explain everything that you're probably going to want to know about this trial, and it's a really, really good read. So I'm going to go ahead and read it to you, LeVar Burton style.
Sweet.
Okay.
I love LeVar Burton.
I know, he's my fucking favorite. He's a good follow on Twitter, too, for those of you who don't follow him on Twitter. Okay, so it starts out, and this is from the Elderscrolls Online forums. This is their official release. Says Sothasil's realm is filled with mechanical wonders unlike anything found in Tamriel, but this includes both his incredible successes and his discarded, often dangerous failures. The Asylum Sanctorum is an isolated section of Clockwork City created by Sothasil to sequester 3 saints, Saint Felms, Saint Lothus, and Saint Olms, after it became clear that his experiments made them unstable, say the trial's lead writer, Randy Beagle. Over time, the asylum evolved into a place where residents of Clockwork City would come to make offerings and pay homage to the saints, or seek the assistance of the alienists for their own psychological troubles. The saints were once counted amongst the tribunal's most trusted companions, but they now reside inside monstrous clockwork bodies, hidden from the rest of the city. The 3 saints are some of the most revered figures of the tribunal temple, aside from the living gods themselves, and their closest mortal companions, explained Beagle. These mechanical constructs, powered by black soul gems containing their immortal souls, were crafted by Sothasil himself to be vessels for these revered figures. It was this mechanical transformation that sent the saints mad, forcing the clockwork god to house them within the asylum for the protection of all. However, all 3 saints have become increasingly agitated over time, and the asylum's caretaker worries that they might escape. The players come across the Asylum Sanctorum in a moment of crisis. The head alienists fear that he can no longer keep the saints' insanity in check, and he does not have the power to contain them should they finally turn violent. It's up to you and your team to enter the asylum and subdue them before they threaten all of the Clockwork City. And then next, it explains the new type of trial. The Asylum Sanctorum is a new type of trial for both veteran and rookie groups. Like previous trials in Elder Scrolls Online, this new challenge requires 12 players of high level and of 12 players and a high level of coordination and communication in order to compete. However, this new challenge also has two big differences. It only has 3 bosses total and allows you to pick how you want to take them on. The Asylum Sanctorum is very much a choose-your-own-adventure style of trial, says the ESO's dungeon lead, Mike Finnegan. The only boss you actually have to kill is St. Olms, but you get to decide how difficult you want to make that fight. There are 2 other bosses in the Asylum Sanctorum, St. Felms and St. Lothus, and either one can be fought individually in any order, however you so wish. You can skip one or both of them and go straight for the clockwork monster known as St. Olms, but be warned, if you skip one or both of the first 2 saints, you'll have to deal with them and Olms at the same time, making the last fight considerably harder. Some of the trial's feedback we hear from players is that they want even more that truly pushes them to their limits. So the Asylum Sanctorum is a way for us to develop something that they have more than just veteran and veteran hard mode to challenge them. It was a way for us to create a more gradient in difficulty. By selecting which bosses your group wants to take on and win, you're able to customize the trial's overall difficulty, and when you account for the fact that the trial can be run in both normal and veteran mode, there's a huge amount of variation in difficulty to challenge your team. The Asylum Sanctorum is a great trial experience for both new and veteran groups. And then this next section talks about the drops that are going to come from this. The Asylum Sanctorum provides a full suite of rewards, including gear sets, achievements, and a skin. But this new trial also drops 2 new types of items upon completion: Asylum weapons and special rune boxes. Asylum weapons are similar to the Monster and Maelstrom weapons you can get from the Dragonstar Arena and Maelstrom Arenas that provide buffs to specific weapon abilities. For example, you can find a 2-handed Asylum weapon with the Discipline Slash bonus that provides additional ultimate when you use the Reverse Slash ability. Perfect for those wanting to deal massive damage up close. With Asylum weapons, the goal is to get more players interested in taking on this new trial. Trials have always had this notion surrounding them that being exclusively for veteran players, and that's just not how our game works, Rich Lambert says, and I arguably disagree. The game's creative director. We wanted to get more people into the trial to see how much fun it is to play with other people in large groups. And these powerful Asylum weapons are a great incentive to do that. Of course, there's plenty of unique loot for veteran players looking to challenge themselves too, and the quality of rewards offered in the Asylum changed to reflect its difficulty. For example, when you complete the trial on veteran hard mode, you will earn a perfected version of the Asylum weapon. Just as we wanted to encourage new players to attempt trials, we also wanted to make sure our veterans had something unique after completing the trial on the hardest difficulty, explains Lambert. With the perfected Asylum weapons, you get a version of the item that looks different and is slightly better than the standard one, reflecting the greater challenge. I'm still reading, just give me 1 second to scroll here. Finally, in addition to the perfected Asylum weapons, when you complete the Asylum Sanctorum on veteran hard mode, you'll also have the chance, just a chance, to receive an ultra rare rune box. These rune boxes contain a clockwork reliquary, a polymorph that can turn your character into a mechanical factorum.
Ooh.
What's more, as long as you don't open the rune box when you first pick it up, you're able to sell it on the markets or give it away. Rune boxes are truly rare drops that are at the same time tradable, not bind on pickup, and were the result of player feedback, says Lambert. With the introduction of these rare rewards, we're addressing a long-standing request by giving veteran trial players something unique that they can trade. With the veteran hard mode version of the trial having a chance to drop these rare rune boxes, players who have already mastered the Asylum Sanctorum and earned all of its rewards now have a great reason to continue to go back and run it again. And that's kind of the gist of it, which I think that the thing that stands out the most to me is not only like the new weapon drop that's going to be coming, but the fact that it is going to be a very incentive-based trial, and to me, it sounds like this trial, more than any other trial, is not going to be exclusively for veteran groups. This is something that you're going to be able to run with people who maybe aren't as experienced, because you can scale the difficulty. Like, even on normal, there's going to be an easy way to do it on normal. There's going to be a medium difficulty, and there's obviously going to be the hardest way to do it. And then you have the same thing for veteran mode as well, which I think is really awesome.
Well, that's how they all start getting tensioned. Oh yeah, everybody, let's get in on this. And then about a month later, after every elitist asshole's gotten his hooks into it, they're like, nope, fuck you, you're below this level. I don't want nothing to do with you.
Well, I think that the difference in this, it's the fact that the trial itself is versatile. There's not going to be just one way to run it.
Right.
Like there is, like, there's going to be a best way, but I feel like the way that, like, the only way to get like the best loot drops is to, I have a feeling it's going to be by pulling all 3 bosses at the same time and fighting them.
Right. Yeah, that sounds easy to say. If you can figure out a way to work it
So
all, I mean, that'd be the
that's
best,
probably going to be like the super hard mode, and that's probably going to be where you find like the elitist asshole saying, no, you can't join because you're not this or that. But I feel like, especially on normal and it being so versatile, I feel like, just like any other trial, it's all about mechanics. And as long as everybody is knowing or learning the mechanics as we're going, I think that kind of alleviates that a little bit. It's kind of the flexibility that I wish some of the other trials have. And I hope that the trials that they create going forward continue to have this type of flexibility. I also like the fact that you're going to get a drop from these that you're going to be able to sell and not just trade between whoever you ran the trial with, like after like 2 hours.
That is really awesome. I like that.
That's something that they need to look into for all the other content in this game, because quite frankly, like, that's one of the things that really ruined the market for this game.
Mm-hmm.
Is when everything that dropped from dungeons turned to bind on pickup.
Yeah.
Because it used to not be like that. Like, you used to be able to sell like lich stuff and, things that drop from dungeons, and everything but the monster helms were tradable.
Yeah, it should have never stopped being like that.
No, it shouldn't have, and it completely fucked up the market, because now there's only it cut the amount of things that you could sell in a trader in half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now it's a bunch of crap, or things that I don't need, or
it's things that I've actually seen things in traders that are like pre that update, like lich jewelry, and I keep using lich as an example because that was one of like the expensive items that people would sell, because it was a hard grind. But things that they picked up before the update, like people had walked away from the game and came back or whatever, and they had these things sitting in their bank, and they're selling for like hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Or at least they're in traders for that much. I don't know if they're necessarily selling for that much, but
as they should be, because you can't do that anymore. I mean, if you've got the money and you don't want to spend the time, fuck it, right? That's what the whole setup should be,
Well, yeah, and the prices, like, for Xbox One, as far as I know, were pretty cancerous, especially like materials and stuff, which the prices on all that stuff has gone down like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Which I personally don't like, because I was one of those people who would benefit from selling. Like, you remember, like, when me and you first met, the amount of grinding of materials I did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now you do, like, none.
Yeah, because it's not worth it. Like, there's no pay from it. Like, to me, it's like, you have players in this game that have hoarded millions and millions and millions. Mm-hmm. So, to me, it's like, why am I going to spend 8 hours grinding some fucking, like, Ancestor Silk, when all I'm going to make a stack on that is like 3K.
Yeah, no, it's like oil field crash drop.
Or selling the gold, like the gold drops for, like, when I refine it, they don't sell for nothing anymore.
Yeah,
like used to, that shit was selling between like 7 and 10K. I was selling temp alloys for like 20K.
Yeah, now I can get some of those for as low as like 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Which, I mean, it's, oh no, man.
That shouldn't be a thing, man. That really should not be a thing.
Well, here's the thing. It shouldn't have been that bad to begin with. And whenever their way of alleviating that, quote unquote, was to make it to where you could pick up those, like, the rare materials, which were the rubidite and the ancestor silk and the rubidoux leather.
Oh yeah,
They're
right.
not rare anymore. They're everywhere
No.
now. They're in every zone. It's based off of your skill in that crafting skill line,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to it being, instead of it being like zone based. Because used to, if you didn't have any of the DLCs, you couldn't pick any of that shit up except for like rarely.
Yeah, and that's why they were expensive. Because
Yeah.
not everybody had it.
Well, not everybody had easy access to it. If you had the DLCs and you were leveled, it was
Mhm.
everywhere. But
Yeah.
if you didn't have the DLCs and you weren't leveled properly, then it was really, really hard to find. Which to me, I mean, that's pay to win in a way, but I
Right.
mean, but it's one of those things where it's like that's something that should have been addressed from the start, and it wasn't. And it's really kind of it's fucked the market. Like, I really don't understand the economics of this game, and I've been playing it for 3 years.
That's why I don't sell anything anymore. That's
Yeah.
why I don't buy anything anymore. It's like if I can't go get it, or someone doesn't want to like maybe trade me something, or maybe take a little bit of cash for it, like I don't want it. Fuck it. I don't
I
want
mean,
it.
I do a whole lot of just giving shit away because
Yeah.
it's like it's not really worth much gold.
No, you got to
Like,
get a ton
I
of it to be worth anything.
Yeah, I can go spend 10 minutes like fighting enemies and just selling the shit that they drop, and I mean,
Yeah.
I'm making more gold than I am going to be selling some of this material.
That's
So
where I make all my money from, man. I run around until my inventory is full, and I sell off and do the same thing again, just wash and rinse, man.
yeah, I was doing that whenever I was grinding out that necropotent stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was doing the last time I was on. It's like,
Okay.
let's just sit here and get everything. This
So
is nice.
to transition a little bit away from just talking ESO stuff, I sent you this article on how to have like an awkward conversation with somebody in the workplace who
Oh, right. Yeah,
isn't properly taking care of themselves.
that's hilarious. Hilarious.
Okay, so the first thing I thought of whenever I read this was there's no way that this shit works in real life. Okay, so to set it up, the example that they give is you have a coworker who maybe doesn't know that they smell as bad as they do. And you're trying to find a way to bring this up to them in a way that they won't be offended. So here are the 3 steps that they suggest doing to make this, make this work for you and everybody around you. This step 1 says, take your coworker aside privately and let them know that you and potentially others have noticed a bad odor when you're nearby. Let them know that you don't necessarily know where the smell is coming from, but that you've simply noticed it. Of course, in situations where a coworker is being loud or inappropriate, you'll have to be more specific. Step 2 says, put yourself in their shoes by sharing a similar experience. For example, you could share that sometimes when you're at the gym and you start to smell less than ideal, but you don't really notice because you're in it at the time. That smell, however, is far more potent to others. Step 3, offer to help. Sometimes your coworker will not be sure how to solve the problem, and this opens up the opportunity for a dialogue. Together, you can actually look for ways to fix the problem and strengthen your relationship. If you'd rather not put this extra effort in, however, you can talk to a supervisor beforehand and see if they'll be willing to help. That way, you can let them handle the problem and the coworker can still get the help he or she needs. Okay, so my initial reaction to this, first of all, if somebody came up to me and pulled me aside personally and said, we've noticed a smell in the area around you. We don't necessarily think it's you, but first of all, I know what you're fucking saying. I stink. Secondly, who the fuck are you to come up to me and tell me about it? Like, you think I don't know I fucking stink? Believe me, if I smell so bad that other people are coming up to me and talking to me about it, I know I fucking stink. And I just don't fucking care.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if you can smell yourself even just the tiniest bit,
Secondly,
you are incredibly stinky to everybody else.
Okay, so that completely obliterates step 1 because right then and there, I'm telling whoever's walking up to me and talking to me about this to fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, It says to put yourself in their shoes by sharing a similar experience. And I talked to you about this earlier. I'm like, the only way that I'm thinking that like I can relate to this is like, I forgot to put on deodorant one day, or I went and got my dick wet and didn't shower the day, shower right after. So like the next day I got like crotch stank. But I mean, like, that's not something you talk to somebody about. Like,
No.
even you don't put yourself in their shoes.
No, you don't relate
The
to
reason
stink.
the reason you're having to have this fucking talk with them is because you don't put yourself in their shoes.
And maybe they need to clean theirs.
That's what I'm saying. And then, okay, step 3, offer to help. Yo, bro, let's go to the showers. I'm going to scrub you down. I'm going to show you the sweet spots. The spots you need to hit. Where the odor might be coming from. Like, I'm going to, like, we'll get a sponge. We'll get a loofah. Some Old Spice. It's going to be good. Me, you, bro. Shower. 15 minutes.
That's a PR nightmare.
No, what's funny is that...
Or HR, rather.
At the job that I was working at before, so kind of an example of this I have, and it's not like the dude's smell, but the dude's attitude was ass. And here's the thing, like, I know, like, I come off as a bit of a dickwad, but there's a difference. There's a difference between me having a conversation with somebody outside of work and me being at work. Okay, like I'm not gonna sit here and be like I'm the consummate fucking professional, but I go to work to do my job and I go home. Like, while I'm at work, I'm about my business. I don't need to know everybody's fucking personal problems up there, right? Like, I don't, like, if you want, I don't need to know your political views. I don't need to know your fucking religious views. That's a big one. I really don't need to know your fucking religious views. And for some reason, like, this dude would hit on all fucking 3, like every day. He's either talking about some shit that he has going on at home, some shit that he, has. Oh, do you listen to blah, blah, blah about blah, blah, blah? Goddamn Obama, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Obama hasn't been president for like 6 months, dude. And,
right.
Or it's like some fucking religious rant. And I'm like, for the love of fuck. Like, you're at work.
Mm-hmm.
Work. This is an environment shared by others to make money. This is a business. Like, you are at a place of business. Get your shit together and shut the fuck up. Like, seriously, this dude, he would go on and on and on about fucking nothing forever. And the thing is, it's like, he's one of those guys that would go and, like, bitch to his boss about everything. So, this one time, he was one of the people that would, like, oversee, like, the offloading of a truck. I worked quality control, so I was going and checking the product as it was coming in. Mm-hmm. Well, one of his temps who was helping offload the truck was talking to me about some sports stuff, which, for anybody who doesn't know, like, I'm a big sports guy. Like, that's my thing. Like, the comic books and the video games and all that stuff. That's pretty much secondary to football for me.
Wake is the DC sports boy.
Yeah, I'm like the Mia Khalifa of Oklahoma City sports. Excuse me. But we're talking about sports or whatever, and I guess we were talking for a little longer than he liked because he doesn't say a word to me about it. He goes straight to the warehouse manager, tells him that I'm disrupting his temps. His temps. They're not his temps, but he says his temps.
Nice.
And so I hear it from my boss, who heard it from his boss. And so I walk up to the guy, and I'm like, hey, like, if you have a problem with something I'm doing, like, you could just talk to me, right? I was like, we're professionals. We work together. Like, we talk every day. You've told me so many personal things about yourself that I feel like you should be comfortable enough to come to me if you have a problem with, like, what we're doing work-wise.
What is this professionalism you speak of?
Yes, he gets so up in arms. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it was terrible. And working with him every day was terrible. And I'm so happy I don't anymore. But But that's kind of my workplace experience with that. And there's no way to put myself in his shoes because he's a fucking idiot. So, like, I couldn't get any sort of comprehension. Like, I didn't understand why he couldn't just, like, go to work and, like, do his job. But, anyways, do you have anybody in your workplace that just drives you up the fucking wall or some shit like that?
You know, if I had less patience, maybe.
Well, no, and the thing is, like, I would never say anything to him. Like, I would just let it go. I would smile and nod, do my job. You know, the whole professionalism thing.
Right.
Right. Because, you know, I'm going to have to come to work and see him the next day. So it's like, I don't want to piss him off.
Yeah, no, I don't, I do the smile and nod thing, because I mean, I talk to the people I work with, but I don't, like, talk to the people I work with.
And the difference is, if somebody annoys you, like, in office, you can just go take a 4 fucking hour lunch break, and you're good to go.
You know, well, that too, but the thing about a lot of the people I work with is with the exception of one, maybe 2 people, the next closest person to me in age is 20 years older than I am. So,
no,
there's one guy who's like
no
6
joke.
years older than me. So,
No joke, that's exactly what it was like where I worked. This dude was in his 40s.
yeah, no. So I'm like I am the youngest person in the building that's employed there. So,
Yeah, whenever I first started there, I started there when I was like 22, and I was the youngest person in the company. And then, like, they brought in, like, some of the designers, like, fresh out of college.
Right, yeah.
They ended up, they're, like, 23, 24 years old. So, like, whenever, like, I had been there for a few years, like, they started bringing in people younger. But, yeah, it was a hell of an experience. Just the stupid shit. And here's the thing. Like, when I got fired, they fired me for, quote-unquote, the amount of time that I had missed and my job performance, and I'm doing this in air quotes, and people can't see it because,
It's okay,
hear it in my
I can
voice.
see that's all that matters.
Job performance. They fired a dude who did nothing, and this is what's hilarious to me about, like, them firing me for job performance. The guy that I was working with before, he had gotten caught, like, playing, like, games on his laptop all fucking day instead of actually doing work. They knew about that for months and let it go. They didn't fire him until he physically threatened somebody else at work. That was the straw.
You got to draw it somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's where they draw the line, was, like, physical violence against another coworker. But, like, straight up, and, like, they were able to, like, go through and see, like, oh, you got this level at this time and you did this here, blah blah blah. Like, it was very detailed. Like, they could see, like, every little thing he was doing on his computer. Don't fire him for that, right? So they end up firing him. I'm the only guy in that position for, like, 6 months. The entire time they're complimenting me, you're doing great at this, doing this, like, you really stepped up, blah 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 blah. They hire this new guy who's, like, way better with, like, computers than I am, and I guess, like, a way better suck up, but doesn't want to do anything in the warehouse. Like, they get him trained, and, like, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, I'm fired. I'm like, huh, okay.
Yeah, that's sketchy.
But it's fine. Because now I get to be, like, a full-time soccer dad, so that's fun.
You're living the dream, man. Stay-at-home dad.
Yeah. If a stay-at-home dad paid more, it would be living the dream. But I don't miss that place. It was kind of corrupt as fuck. Like, it was a very, like, good old boy, like, how much fucking ass can you suck?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And, like, I'm not into that. I'm not. Like, I go there, I do a job. Like, I know that I'm doing everything to the best of my abilities and all that good shit. But
I thought you ate the booty like groceries, man. What happened there?
I do, but not to people who don't deserve it.
Not old dude booty.
Nah.
That's funny. Yeah.
Okay, so to kind of move on from this workplace talk, because I'm sure that everybody's stopped fucking listening by now.
They're raging right now, like, I have this one guy at work, son of a bitch.
Yeah. See, everybody can relate, but that is, like, a relatable story. Like, everybody has somebody at work they just can't fucking stand.
Oh yeah. Wouldn't be work with that one guy, man.
Oh, and in my case, there was, like, about 5 or 6 of them, and they all kind of did the same thing.
pro tip for everybody that works: if you don't know where that guy is or you haven't met that guy, you are that guy.
Stay away. Yeah.
No, you are that guy.
Nice. But I mean, if you don't know that, you're like a tattletelling bitch by the time you're 40, like there's nothing that can be done for you.
No,
I'm sorry.
You cannot be saved, especially at 40.
Okay, so kind of the last thing that we're going to touch on today, and it's going to be kind of extended because there was about 4 or 5 articles on like Otaku. Is that what the name of the Kotaku? Is that the name of the website?
Kotaku, yeah.
Kotaku. Kind of all touching on this, and there's like different levels to it, but it all kind of correlates, and it was pretty awesome. And it's something that I think every gamer can really relate to, and I think it's been a big problem in the gaming community over the past 2 or 3 years is really like when this has started to become prevalent.
Everything
outside
almost
of
mainstream,
cell
yeah,
outside of like cell phone games, yeah. Okay, so in the past year, 25% of sales, that's a whole quarter for those of you who can't convert fractions into percentages, were gained. Yes. I like to touch everything. Yeah. 25% of sales from last year in gaming were gained by the sale of add-on content. So you buy a base game, and the developers, instead of spending their time making new games, will create add-on content like DLCs, additions to, like, what did they call a Morrowind whenever it came out? It wasn't just a DLC.
It's an expansion.
An expansion. There you go.
That's how they sold it under the guise of $40, $70, and $100.
Yeah, even though it was smaller than the fucking Rothgar DLC. Like,
yeah.
That was ridiculous. I can't believe I paid that much for it. And looking back, I wouldn't have.
Neither can Heather.
I haven't. Oh, she don't give a fuck about that. I pre-ordered it whenever we got our taxes in, so it was free money. But I could have spent that on crowns and gotten a nicer house.
You spent it on crack and created a problem.
Well, I probably would have had less of a problem had I done drugs instead of spending money on this stupid ass game. But anyways, 25% of sales from the last year were gained by the sale of add-on content. Games as a service have tripled the gaming market value, threefold. They're releasing less titles over time and instead releasing regular updates and add-ons. An article that you had sent me, and I hadn't actually seen this until you had sent it to me, is Activision has a patent that was just was it October that they got the patent?
Yeah, they applied.
They just
for
recently got it, but they applied in 2015.
Yeah, they applied for it late 2015, and they just got it this month, like a week ago.
Yeah. Okay. So what it does is, in their matchmaking games, they'll put players in lobbies who have bought the item and pit them against players who have not purchased them to give the players that have purchased them an advantage, to encourage those who have not to purchase the add-ons. So say, you have this really awesome gun that you bought in their little, game store or whatever. Mm-hmm. And what they're going to do is whenever you go into a matchmaking section, and this isn't something that has been implemented yet. So if
not by Activision anyways.
No. So if you're getting your ass handed to you in, like, I don't know, Battlefront or whatever, I don't know, what does Activision do that's first-person shooter?
I don't remember. I don't remember studios anymore.
Okay. Well, if you suck at an Activision game, this isn't why. You just need to get better. But
get good, scrubs.
Yeah. But basically, it's pay to win, and it's pay to win. And it's also, it's basically it's pay to win. That's really the best way to describe it, because I guess forcing people to buy something in order to win is pay to win. Yeah. So there's that issue, and it's not just Activision, but it's other gaming studios and things like that you can imagine probably do the same thing. Yeah. Or they just put OP shit in their stores, and if you have it, that's great. If you don't, you're kind of SOL. Another thing that's kind of popped up that's been a problem. Before we get to this, I don't mind games as a service. Like Elder Scrolls Online, to me, the base game is good. The only issue I have is I spent I think $70 on the special edition expansion for Morrowind. You could get it as low as I think 40 whenever it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it sells for like 60 right now retail.
Yeah, good lord.
But I mean, it's not worth $60. The Hrothgar DLC was what, 3,000 crowns, which is like 30.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay, so and Hrothgar was good content. There was a lot to the story. There was a lot of mission. Like there was a lot to explore.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, there's a lot of dead space in Vardenfell.
There really is.
From the Morrowind DLC. They put that big fucking volcano in the middle of the map, but you can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And that's like 90% of the map of Morrowind. You spend the entirety of your time in Vardenfell kind of skirting around the coast.
Yeah.
So to me, like that's not worth the money. The storyline is okay. I haven't completed all of it, but I've gotten into some of the missions. The overworld, not super great. I wasn't a big fan of it. Some of the things that you can get, they have a couple of outfits that you can get from completing certain mission like storylines. They have a few like 3 motifs that came out with it that are a pain in the ass to get, so it's not worth paying 40 some odd dollars for, 50, 60, 70, there was just a lot to be desired. They left a lot on the table, a lot to be desired, and I'm hoping that with the addition of Clockwork City, I'm hoping that that's a sign that they're going to continue building on Morrowind. Jack, you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. Like I said, I hope that that's a sign that they're going to continue to build on Morrowind.
Yeah.
And kind of make it worth the 70 some odd dollars I paid for it. I mean, I got like a cool little horse that I'll never use, and a few of the dwarven crown crates, but aside from that, like it really was not worth the money.
No.
The other DLCs though, I mean, the DLC dungeon expansions are only 1,500 crowns. That's $15 for 2 dungeons.
That's
That you're gonna that it's hard content. Like their DLC dungeons are way more difficult than the base game dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
Their rewards are way more worth it. There's motifs that drop from each one. There's skins, there's all kinds of stuff that you can get. It's hours of gameplay just within those 2 dungeons for each DLC.
Right.
Hrothgar, definitely worth it. And if you have an ESO Plus subscription, you ain't even got to pay for all these. Like, you get them automatically, and you get the 1,500 crowns and the craft bag. Yeah, no, like, their subscription is awesome.
Yeah, that's a hell of a deal.
So it's that doesn't leave a whole lot to be desired. They do a great job with that. And then that brings us to before we get there, what do you think of all that? Like, what's your opinion on their add-ons and their DLCs and just them doing less games per year and more subscription-based gaming?
I mean, the few really good ones, like the dungeons for the 1,500 for the 2, those I mean, like that's solid. I mean, that's good stuff. But you get a lot of, and even the only good one I think they've put out would be Hrothgar. The rest of it, like the Gold Coast, the what's the other place called?
Hughesbane,
and Vardenfell. All of that, a lot of that's just kind of empty fields and things littered here and there.
Well, yeah, and a lot of I feel like
story.
a lot of I just started getting into this too, by the way, and I've had the DLC for a good year now, I think. I just started getting into the Gold Coast stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd completed kind of all like the general missions, but I hadn't done the like Dark Brotherhood stuff. Right. I just started getting into that. I'm actually really enjoying it.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. It was just the rest of the area.
Yeah, I think like those areas are small, and I think that might be people's problem with it, is there's not a lot to explore. But there's a lot of good content inside that small space. And the thing about especially Gold Coast, I'm not quite sure about Hughesbane. I haven't done the Thieves Guild stuff yet. But the thing about like the Dark Brotherhood quest is it takes you all over Tamriel.
Yeah. Yeah, so you get to visit everywhere.
But from the perspective of not just Elder Scrolls Online, because some people that listen to this may not play it, just from somebody who you have a wider variety of interests as far as video games go. You're not just like a one game kind of guy forever. Like you have other things that you want to play, even if like Elder Scrolls has kind of sucked you in a little bit.
Right.
You say all the time that you have other interests, that you want to play other games. Subscription based gaming kind of makes that difficult because you're paying to play this game.
Right.
For an extended amount of time. There's add-ons to it. They're not going to be coming out with, Elder Scrolls Online 2. It's just going to be Elder Scrolls Online with expansions and DLCs, or
the 13th, 20th update, whatever.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, is that good for gaming, or do you kind of wish there was more variety? Like instead of Elder Scrolls Online, would you rather have Elder Scrolls 6?
And this kind of thing has been brought up kind of with like Destiny, for instance, where instead of making Destiny 2, they could have just done Destiny 1 better, which it wasn't a horrible game. It lasted for about, I don't know, maybe 8 hours or so, not counting the additional content, however long it took. And it's just the game was over. Then all you had to do was just run the raids over and over again, or do what the Iron Banner stuff or all that kind of thing. It's just it's really boring after a while.
And that game died pretty quick, didn't it?
Yeah, the community dropped
about
off
a year.
Pretty hard. After the last update, I think it was a good maybe 3-4 months, and then it just bit the dust, man. It was over.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why they did a new Destiny instead of doing another update or an add-on, because at that point you've kind of lost your player base.
That's true too.
I'm thinking like games like Halo, games like Call of Duty, where it's it's not the same game, quote unquote, over and over again, but as far as the matchmaking goes, it kind of is. The storylines are different, the settings are different, some of the weaponry is different, they add things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To me, those would be good subscription-based games.
I wouldn't mind that. People talk a lot of crap about Call of Duty and all that, but they release a good game every single year consistently. I mean, if they weren't good games, people wouldn't be buying them. So,
yeah,
I'd pay. I don't know if I'd do monthly for something that was released yearly, but I mean, if it was some kind of yearly subscription, I'd certainly.
But what I'm saying is, if they just came out with a game, just Call of Duty, and that was going to be their title, and they're going to do add-ons and expansions and things like that. They'll, you can download new missions if you want to do the single player stuff, but a lot of it's going to be because a lot of that game is based around PvP. It's not.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
People don't buy those games for the storyline. I'm sorry, and anybody who thinks that they do, they're dumb. You play that because number one, you're probably not very good at other video games, and number two, you buy it because you want to talk shit, with your friends in a party.
360 no scope, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, games like Call of Duty and Halo, and to I don't know. To me, it's all the same. They're very similar in the way that they play. As far as what's the point? You buy it to play against other players.
That's true. I've never played the story of any of them. I
actually have. I played Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2's stories, and they're good. They're great. But I mean, as far as the matchmaking goes, it's all the same. Scope, trigger.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It doesn't change even from different games.
Grenade.
The controls are the same.
Yeah, it's all the fucking same. So to me, it's why would I pay $60 a year to play this game, to just get the new version of this game? Why don't you just make the subscription base, pay, say $30 a year, and you have the all access pass, and
yeah,
you'd have more people on board for that, and do updates every 4 or 5 months where you're adding some new storylines for the storyline, or
right, or
new weapons, or
weapon
upgrading things.
different
Like,
shit like that. Yeah.
I think that like something that would be great for those games is like weapon calibration and like, you know, updating, like making it very, very competitive based. Like I think that would be very, very cool. Instead of just doing like little weapon upgrades that are kind of generic, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. For me personally, like from that aspect, I think that it's not very good for gaming. Like I would think that having more titles, different titles, not just releasing a rebrand of the same game every year,
Right.
would be more beneficial. But you're seeing like kind of like the mentality of gamers now is I'm going to pay $60 for this game and I want my money's worth out of it. And if that means, you know, I'm paying $15 here, $15 there, $30 here to get, you know, more of an experience from the space game, then they don't mind doing it, which, you know, for some games that's great. For others, I don't know. I think that it's an odd way to go as far as like it being mainstream.
Yeah, and it is very mainstreamed.
Another thing that's kind of mainstreamed, and this all started from cell phone games. Like if you think back to like Clash of Clans and what are those what do they call them, like push games? Is that what
Push
they're
games?
called?
I don't know. I don't play cell phone games, dude, to be honest with you.
Okay, so like everything is like pay to win in those games. Like the more money you can drop on it, the more in-game currency you'll have, the more you can buy, the more you can build, the more you can attack, things like that. I used to play a couple of these games and I was totally addicted.
Oh,
And like I would drop like 30, $40 at a time.
I take that back. I played that Clash of Clans game. I had a bunch of friends that were into that all at the same time.
Yeah, and
I probably spent a
it's
couple
like
$100 over the
yeah,
course of a few
it's
weeks.
it's $5 here, $10 here. I need some gems. Like yeah, no, I feel you. Okay, so loot crates is essentially what we're getting to here. It's chance-based rewards for real money in a video game. The ESRB doesn't consider this gambling, but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's no guarantee you're going to get what you want from these crates. So there's a lot of outroar in the community about it. But the problem is people buy them.
Yeah.
So
They
it
continue to
doesn't.
pay for it.
So until the ESRB says no, you can't do this, then you know it's something that's going to be prevalent in gaming. And they've go ahead.
I say the reason rather that I've heard that they probably will never rule that it is gambling is the same reason that they let kids buy TCG packs, because it's all random chance. You have no idea what's in there, but you're guaranteed a certain level of something in each one, but you don't get to pick. You don't know what it is. There's no way of telling.
Well, the thing is, that's not even necessarily how all those work. Just going back to the game that we play the most, Elderscrolls Online, there's not a guarantee that you're going to get a certain level item.
Oh yeah, none whatsoever.
In those crates. It doesn't matter how many crates you open. Each one of them is RNG based. You don't open 15 crates and you're guaranteed one ultra rare if you open 5 crates, 10 crates, 15 crates.
Yeah, everybody has their own. Oh well, if I open this many, I'm much more likely. No, you're not any more likely. You just got lucky.
Yeah, no, exactly.
We have lots of friends that buy like 50 of them at a time. We're like, you didn't increase your odds at all. You just opened more and you got lucky. It's not odds based.
The example that was given in the article that I read was Overwatch. They have a similar system, but the chance of getting like an ultra rare item increases like every 13 crates that you open. You have like a 13% chance to get like an ultra rare item. Yeah, but the operative word there is chance.
Yeah.
So I mean, gambling. What is gambling? It's a game of chance. Yeah, so
yeah, no, when I spend money on things like that, and it's kind of why I stopped spending money on Elderscrolls, is I like a guarantee.
Yeah, no, I won't buy the crates. Like
No,
if
I
I'm buying
won't.
crates, I'm getting them with the crown gems that I get from my ESO Plus subscription. Why? Because essentially they're free.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm not paying any more out of pocket for them than I would paying for just my monthly subscription to the game.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a hell of a lot more out of it than that too. So it's
Yeah,
not just like I'm paying $15 for some crowns and then putting those into a game of chance.
Yeah, so you're essentially getting like $80 worth of content for $15. So.
Yeah, so I mean, to me, like that doesn't bug me. But the problem is people don't like our good buddy Cy. He dumped what 200 some odd dollars on the new crates.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know,
Why?
man.
There's nothing in there that's
I
worth.
don't think he got
$200.
anything that great from him though either. Is the
And
thing.
he did. No, he didn't.
God, man, that would destroy me, man.
I think he got like one of those skeletal mounts, but he didn't get like one of the ultra rare ones.
There's ultra rare ones.
Yeah, they did last time where like you only get like they're like special mounts that you could only get from the crate. You couldn't get them with the crown gems.
Oh, that's what the skeletal ones are, though, aren't they?
No, you can buy the
5 or
skeletal
so?
ones, but there's 3 of them that drop that are different. There's like an ice.
Oh.
There's like one that's like a spectral setch. There's one that's like has like a green like aura, and it looks like a setch or a bear or a saber tooth or something.
Uh-huh.
They all the skeleton mounts look fucking same to me except for the
didn't know
gold in the
that.
camp.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's no, it's not cool, Jack.
No, it's cool,
It's
but I sure
not
shit
cool.
wouldn't spend any money on it.
Yeah,
Absolutely
no,
not.
But like that's why people buy those things because I mean,
Mhm.
because really, and this is exactly how they get away with it on ESO too. It's really not a game of chance because if you buy enough of those crates, you're gonna get enough gems to get, the rare shit.
Mm-hmm. At least
just-
one of them, yeah.
Yeah. But where it is chance is, oh well, we have 3 things in here that you can only get by getting the crates.
Yeah. And they're super fucking rare, and like 4 people in the entirety of the game on this console have it.
Yeah. So yeah, it is ridiculous, and I hate it. I really do.
Yeah, no, I'm not overly
And a lot of
fond loot
people,
boxes.
a lot of people's issue with it is, it breeds addiction, as
Yeah.
if like video gaming isn't addictive enough.
Right.
I mean, we spend hours and hours a week. We'll spend entire weekends grinding shit. Like it's a time sink. Like this is real life time that we'll never get back. That we play these video games,
Right.
and so it's that's bad enough. And then on the other side of that coin, now we're throwing our real money into it for
Mhm.
what could potentially yield really nothing of any value. Well, it's absolutely nothing of any real value. But, in game wise, it's like it's nothing of value. You can't sell this shit.
Spending real money on fake money to buy fake things.
Exactly. And when you say it like that, it sounds really really fucking stupid. Just
Yep.
completely asinine.
That's how I talk myself out of spending real money on fake money.
Yeah.
It's just pitiful, man. It's awful.
Well, Mr. Jack, that's everything that we had on our rundown tonight.
It's everything.
That is everything. And it was an hour and a half. This is actually longer than our first show.
Is it really? How long did
Yes.
we go the first time?
About an hour, I think, right?
I
Was it
don't
more than an
remember.
hour? It was like an hour 45, so I might be lying.
Well, now we got to go the extra like 15 minutes just to beat the first one.
No, we don't got to do that. We don't want to bore the people any more than we probably already have.
Well, we need to come out with an appropriate outro next time, like a song, like we have an intro.
All right. So are we ready to sign off?
Sign me out, baby.
Okay. This has been the Instant Regret Podcast with Jakflash and CWAKE. Don't forget, you can find us on social media at RegretPod on Facebook and Twitter. You can find us here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Instant Regret Podcast. You can find Jack on Twitter at Jakflash2. That's JAKFLASH and the number 2. And you can find me on Twitter at Cameron Wake, CAMERONWAKE. Until next time, stay classy, Internet.